Here's a general overview of the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, abbreviated the CARES Act. This act cost the U.S. government approximately $2 trillion in subsidies made available. A large portion of these subsidies are available to small business owners. Among these subsidies to small businesses, the three provisions that offer the most benefit include Paycheck Protection Program, Emergency EIDL, standing for Economic Injury Disaster Loan grants, Employee Retention Tax Credits. I think these are the most important provisions because they involve giving free money to small businesses if they meet certain requirements. Generally, these provisions cannot be taken advantage of simultaneously. I'll go over each of them in order. A Paycheck Protection Program loan is a loan up to the amount of the business's average monthly payroll costs, multiplied by 2.5. This can be either your 2019 average payroll costs or the average monthly payroll costs for the 3-month period of time between February 15 or March 1 of 2019 and June 30 of 2019. The wages that are to be included include all payments made to employees, including tips, vacation pay, health insurance, and retirement benefits. But it does not include payroll taxes paid for employees. This is an SBA 7A loan, which is applied for through filling out a fairly simple loan application that is submitted to a bank. Here is the standard application that I obtained from my bank, Wintrust. You start out by checking the kind of business that you are. If you report your business income on a 1040 tax return, Schedule C, you will typically be either a sole proprietor or LLC, depending on whether you have set up an LLC. An independent contractor may also use a Schedule C or consider their business income other income on their tax return. Also, you would know if you are a partnership, C Corp, or S Corp based on whether you file one of these tax returns for your business. If you file a Schedule C or are an independent contractor, you may not have an EIN, so you would have to put your social security number. This is really the only substantive part of the application, asking for your average monthly payroll and then multiplies that by 2.5 to give you the maximum loan amount. Number of employees is the number of people who are employed by your business. If you are a sole proprietor, this does not include yourself. Therefore, many sole proprietors will put 0 here if they have no employees. But if you own a business as an S Corp and receive a paycheck for yourself, you would count as 1 employee. The purpose of the loan can be for payroll and other purposes as well, such as rent or lease payments, indicated here. Below, this are a bunch of simple questions that you should be able to answer if you know how to read. Paycheck Protection Program loans shall be forgiven an amount equal to the amount spent on payroll costs, payment of interest on mortgages, rent, or utility costs over an 8-week period starting at the beginning of the loan, but ending no later than June 30 of this year. Yet only 25% of the forgiven costs can be for expenses other than payroll. Support for these expenses incurred will have to be provided by the business. The amount forgiven will be reduced by the fraction employee count is reduced, or if the total salary of employees is reduced by more than 25%. An emergency EIDL grant is obtained through applying for an economic injury disaster loan, which is an SBA 7B2 loan. When applying for this loan, the applicant can request a bridge loan of up to $10,000. This bridge loan, which is really a grant, does not have to be repaid even if the applicant is denied an SBA loan, as long as the grant proceeds are used for an allowable purpose, including making payroll, rent, or mortgage payments. This loan is filed directly with the SBA and can be assessed through going to the SBA website, shown below, and filling out their fairly simple application. The last program available to businesses I will mention is the Employee Retention Tax Credit. Employers that had to fully or partially close due to the coronavirus or had a drop in revenues of 50% or more are eligible to receive a payroll tax credit of 50% of wages paid to employees. Up to 10,000 of wages per employee qualify, which means a payroll tax credit up to 5,000 per employee. It applies to wages paid from March 12 of 2020 to January 1 of next year. It is taken through a reduction in employment taxes shown on Form 941, Employer's Quarterly Federal Tax Return. You will begin reporting the amounts paid employees from March 12 onwards on the second quarter Form 941 return. More information about this credit can be found on the IRS website shown below. This is general information about the CARES Act and is not to be construed as legal advice. If you want legal advice, you can hire me as your attorney through sending me an email at info@johnmccarthycpajd.com. Also, check out my website,